how much it makes easier for you to manage your infrastructure. So do make sure to check out on Meshery.io for more information. You can definitely reach out to any community manager in the selection as well. Before starting, and yeah, since Meshery is a CNCF sandbox project, so we follow the CNCF code of conduct. So be respectful to each others. And we do have a couple of agenda items. One is making sure that your name is listed in the attendees list. So I'll share the doc link again in the chat so that you can add your name in the attendees list. And the second thing is, if you're new to today's call, I would highly encourage you to introduce yourself. So it can be any kind of introduction. You can say your name, where are you from, what are you doing, what bring you to the Meshery development meeting. So you can unmute yourself, give a quick small introduction. Yeah. Anyone new would like to go and introduce? Afzal, is this the first time you're joining today?
Yeah,
Yeah.
hi, yes. This is the first time I am joining. Yeah,
Nice to meet you. Would like to give a small introduction?
yeah, sure. Hi everyone. I hope all of you are doing good. Actually, I'm from India and I'm a like pursuing DevOps engineer right now, like from India. And I'm managing a community trend with Swarm on the platform like LinkedIn and Discord over there. Yeah, and like just got insight from the Linux Foundation, and recently I am going to KubeConf in Hyderabad as well. So I found this Messery project like insightful, and Lee Calcott also texted me out over the LinkedIn for this project, and like I'm looking around to involve myself in the project as well. Yeah,
Thank you, Afzal.
thank you.
Definitely, I'll be there in the KubeCon India. Would love to meet you there. And if you have any question regarding this, we would love to answer your questions as well.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
So thanks, Afzal. Anybody else would like to go and do a quick introduction? Benson, is this the first time you are joining today's call?
Yeah. So, good day, everyone.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So, I'm
Yeah, good.
Joseph. My name. I'm from Nigeria, right? So, this is my first time joining the call. So, I'm happy to be here and um, looking forward to work with the great guys and contribute my quotas to the project as well.
Thank you, Joseph. Thanks for introducing, and we are happy to have you here. Do check out the more information in this doc if you want to contribute. Okay, so anybody else would like to go ahead and introduce? Gani, is this the first time joining today?
Yeah. Hey, no, this is not my first time joining the Meshery meeting, but just to introduce myself, I'm Kanit Tande from India. I'm pursuing my third year CSC. Uh, I've uh, I've got to know Meshery from LFX, so looking forward to contribute. I've been looking to contribute actively, but then in between my laptop has been broken, so I took a break, but now I'm back.
Oh, nice to have you there, Gani. Thanks for the introduction. Anyone else would like to go? Darshan. Yeah, I think I saw you last time.
Yeah, I did this last time.
Yeah, nice to have you, Darshan. Would you like to, if you like
Yeah,
to give a
hi.
quick introduction, you can.
Yeah, sure. I'm Darshan. I'm from India. I got no Meshery through Yash. You were a meshmate
Okay.
before. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's my introduction to Meshery. And then, yeah, I'm having fun contributing here. People are nice, very friendly.
Thank you, Darshan. Rex, would you like to go ahead and introduce? I'm guessing it is the first time. Okay, just in case
Yes.
if you, yeah. go ahead.
I think that's not my first time. That's I think my third or second time joining the meeting.
Oh, nice. Would you like to give a quick introduction in case if you missed last time?
I did give a brief introduction about myself the first time I joined the meeting.
Yeah, you
So
can
I'm
give
based
a
in
quick
Papua New Guinea,
introduction.
one of the yes. I'm based in Papua New Guinea, one of the islands in the South Pacific. I have few colleagues that I work with from India also. mainly from Bangalore. It's good to be part of the community. It's a great learning place. I'm also trying to find my feet, but I think I'm more focused just trying to be on the back end side of things mostly for now. Then I can probably look at other projects that's part of the Meshery initiative. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, Rex. And I live nearby Bangalore, so happy to know that you are aware of the Bangalore. But yeah, so just in case if you missed your introduction, you can do that in the chat. And if you're not able to unmute yourself, any mic issue, you can feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. We'll definitely have a more discussion in the chat. Till then, we can start with our agenda items. We are less with agenda items today. So in case if you're working on something and you want to discuss it today, it's the right time to discuss it. Do make sure to add your item. And yeah, so before going to the agenda items, we have a couple of standing agenda items. One is from the CLI on Matthew. I think Matthew is not able to, will not be joining today. I saw his message. Anybody else would like to cover that part? Or the CLI one?
Yeah, Nikita, can you please cover the soon to be promoted latest command? There's an open PR. Yeah, there's an open PR in which Matthew had recently done some work. He promoted, or excuse me, a command from experimental, and it's updated in the spreadsheet as well.
Yeah, you're talking about like this model init and model build, yeah?
I believe so. I'm hoping that you can. Okay, maybe I don't know if somebody else can cover it if you don't want to.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, let me share my screen.
Sure.
So yeah, like there's like yeah, it was like some work like we previously introduced like two new subcommands for model, like one called model init and the second one is like model build. And it was implemented like a couple months ago, but it was like in experimental state because like it was not actually properly working, like because of like not valid templates. But now like we updated templates like manually without like auto generation, just like hard-coded templates on schema side. And right now, yeah, it's passing validation. So we moved this command from experimental now to like normal mode. Yep, and just like to show from master how it works. Just 1 minute demo. Yep, so like it's not anymore in experimental, so like model, we model init and we place a model name, for example, AWS EC2 controller. It generates us like a template in a like folder which we specified. And it gives us like example of what next steps like to be done, like here, like generating like next steps. So like here is like a comment which we can use like directly from here. So I can just copy it and yeah, I paste it and oh shit. That's bad. Yeah, sorry, because like I was doing it from my local build command, so just I need to do it like this. Yeah, so like it builds me a tar, and now I can do like model import this tar. Yeah, sorry, it didn't have like a server running. Yeah, and after this, like we can import this tar as a model. Okay, server is running. And yeah, it was imported. So yeah, this is like a full cycle. So we now have like a model init, which like creates a folder structure and a template, which we should update, but we can immediately import it. So then we build like a OCI image, and then we can import this OCI image as a model. Yeah, this is the latest update to CLI.
Thank you, Nikita. Any question for him? Any feedback? I think
Yeah.
Nikita, yeah.
I mean,
Please
I guess everyone's familiar with what a model is then, is that command initializes a new model, new Meshery model. And so I assume we're talking about AI models, right?
Almost, yeah, almost, yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Mostly it creates a model in Meshery server, but sometimes if you want, it can also submit a model to ChatGPT. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry, it took me a second. I didn't hear you say ChatGPT. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So does anybody have a question about models? By the way, I mean, just this is when you're asked to introduce, even if you've already introduced before, it's an opportunity to make yourself known. So I take it a piece of advice. Another piece of advice, or just something to be aware of on the meeting. People in the community are very inclined to share and help others become more and more familiar with the project. It helps the project, it helps you, and it helps them as they go to share with you. So don't be shy with questions. It's a real opportunity. Many of the other open source projects that you'll run into, they don't quite work like that. It's more about getting stuff done in the project, and probably less about explaining and trying to help ensure that you're involved. It's more about getting stuff done. So I would take advantage of it if I were you.
Hey, so I had a question on init command. So I actually used the model init. I even shared the screenshots to Nikita. So Lee, actually, you said that you can only make models through registry, and the other way is to make a PR and put it in the catalog. So can this be another way of generating models?
Yeah, it was good. I'll let some other people answer other aspects of what you've asked. There's one quick point of clarification, just from maybe what it was from the thing you'd said that I said. I'll clarify maybe what I intended to convey, and that is that among other ways of that very quickly for all of you that aren't familiar with a Meshery model, it's a model is just a unit of packaging a way of containing descriptions of how Meshery characterizes and manages infrastructure. And so inside of a model, you'll have components, individual pieces of infrastructure that Meshery will manage, and those components have any number of attributes and properties that Meshery understands. Meshery then has also models also have relationships, so that describe how it is that individual components relate to one another. And anyway, the model is a unit of packaging. You just package up any number of components and any number of relationships into an OCI image is one way of having a Meshery model. Yeah. And so Darshan, the thing that I would have tried to convey last time on the subject of like models and Meshery server, or like how models are created or how they're used, what I would have intended to have said is that you that the huh, how do I stumble over my words trying to say this clearly? And that is, Meshery has an internal registry, a database in which you can import models and register them, register those models and all the components that they have. So one model might be for Prometheus, and Prometheus has a Prometheus server and a Prometheus alert manager and policies for when to alert and policies for when to notify or who to notify. And those make up various components inside the model. Yeah, the only way that you can tell Meshery about a new piece of infrastructure to manage is through a model. So the only way that you're able to enhance Meshery's ability to operate and manage infrastructure is by registering a model. Now, some of you like Yash who've been here for a while, if you think about it, that might sound a little weird. I'm saying the only way that you can tell Meshery how to better manage infrastructure is by registering a model. If you think about it, Meshery has many adapters, separate containers that you can run. You can spin up those adapters, and Meshery will better manage a piece of infrastructure because it has an adapter present. Those adapters, they register models. When they first spin up and talk to Meshery server, they register a model. They send over all of their models of components and relationships for the infrastructure that they manage. And when a user makes a request of Meshery to manage those particular types of infrastructure, Meshery routes that request over to the adapter that handles that particular request. Anyway, Darshan, the reason I was going through all of that was just to clarify that it's not that you can only create a new model in Meshery UI or Meshery CTL, or it's that you can only register, import and export a model from Meshery server. You can do it using the UI. You can create a new model in the UI, which someone should demo, or you should go find it in the playground. There's a couple of places where you can click a button to create a model. You can use Meshery CTL to create it. You can also just create it from by hand from JSON files if you want. It would be a little painful, but there are templates out there that you can copy and change.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so that was the question. So using init, you can make your own template and customize your model, and then upload it to the server.
Oh yeah, nice, perfect. So I was just trying to clarify that one aspect of create versus import, but there was like a second part to your question or to your observation, I think. And can you say it one more time just to make sure everybody is aware?
Yeah, so the current way of generating models is through UI, as you said, and Meshery CDL and import. So my question was using the new command, which is a model init, can I customize my model and then just integrate it to the Meshery server?
Great question. Does anybody else want to field that? Nikita, you don't know. Josh, you don't know. Sudhanshu, you don't know.
I was
Well,
actually, yeah.
Oh, okay.
like
And
as far as I know, like for customizing, like from HTCTL, we need to like customize that CSV files if we have this information from there, like their colors and all that, that SVG, and from that, from registry, I guess from the UI is good easy. So you can just like get the whole model I've seen. So yeah.
And yeah, if you would like to import like only one like single command, then like this combination of model init and model build could be really helpful because like it gives you a template.
nice.
Thank you, Nikita and Sudhanshu. I was actually messaging my manager. Sorry about that. Yeah. So any other question, Darshan?
No, understood.
Yeah. We have shared a couple of links to documentation of models. If you are still unaware of models, you can definitely check out that. There is a graph which explains, or I say, a visual representation of a model, how that works, which is really good. So you can check that out. Okay, so let's move forward. The other one is for the UI. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Ayan is also joining us today. And Abid
Yeah,
is also out.
Ian is here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And would you like to share out the test plan?
Yeah, I'm in transition right now, so I can't share my screen. But as far as progress from last week, we are continuing to do the page object model migration of the existing test suite. We did have a new contributor work on the extensions page, so I did a peer review again this morning on that, but we're getting close on making those changes. And then on the design page, I've been working through some of the bugs that I found just kind of going through the flow. So I think we got one or two more issues there to kind of work out before the test suite can be developed for that. But I think I have one pending PR, just a small PR up there. But yeah, if anyone wants or has interest in writing the playwright test, feel free to reach out. We have plenty of work, so come join the fun.
Nice. Hey, quick question. Point. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Hey, Ian, can you educate me? I don't. You mentioned the page object migration. I'm sorry, the page object model migration. Can you? What's the page object model? Is that a?
Yeah. So it's just a playwright construct, essentially conceptualizing each page as the kind of a JavaScript class. So what that will do for us is that the test suite will do all the functionality of verification on that page, but the page itself will encapsulate all the locators, the functionality. So if a change happens, you just go to that page and the test suite can remain doing its thing. It will also help us reuse any pages. So if you use the navigation to go from one page to the next, you can essentially reuse those pages and the functionality that you expose on that. So as the test suite kind of goes to its next phase of growing up, if you will, and expanding, will help us scale a little bit and organize concerns that are wrapped up in the automation test.
I followed. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense why we would be migrating to it as well. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not such a huge migration. It's kind of a conceptual shift on how we're writing the tests and how they were stood up in the first place. So.
Yash, at the bottom of this sheet, if you were to go to the, I'm sorry, I mean to say of the tab of the sheets, the tabs at the very bottom, there is, yeah, that one, v0.8.0. This one has a list of, well, actually, I think it's both the CLI tests and then the UI tests as well. There you go. Yeah. Nice. So there's quite a few tests that have been written, but more with help wanted on them. And so, yeah, plenty of opportunity, whether written in Bash or written in using Playwright. There are end-to-end tests to write. So nice.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Anne. Okay. Okay, so we followed on the standing agenda items. The other ones are from the Nikita. Nikita, would you like to go ahead, or you already covered this part? I don't think so, right? Meshing as a library experimental mode.
No, this is a different one, yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to go ahead and share about this?
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to do like a quick demo, like how it is working. So I prepared like setup with local cluster, like on my local. And yeah, first like a brief introduction of what's going on. So like yeah, it was like some effort like to introduce like a new functionality. So how right now like we run Meshery server like in a cluster, like the default setup is that we have like a Meshery server running as a deployment, and also we have a standalone mesh sync deployment, and also Meshery broker, which is NAS broker. And these like two entities, they are managed by a Kubernetes operator. So like when user like deployed Meshery to cluster, it has like its own deployment plus like also operator. And it was the idea that we do not really wanna. So some users, they do not maybe want to install like a lot of stuff in their cluster. They only want like what if you can like just go with the single Meshery deployment without like operator, mesh sync and broker and so on. So like yeah, this PR which was merged is like introduces for now it's like an experimental mode.
Yeah, your screen is stuck, I guess. I can see only the terminal.
My screen what? Sorry?
It's stuck, I guess, if it's happening for all. I can see your terminal. Yeah.
No, I was just like giving introduction. Sorry. Yeah, so like in PR which was merged, like we introduced environment variable which allows like embeds this mesh sync functionality as a library, so we do not need any more operator and mesh sync and broker. So yeah, right now like I have like you see, there is nothing here, so I can let me describe. So this is like a Meshery deployment, which is right now no pods, and I'm talking about like this like environment variable, which is like introduced into Helm chart, which we can right now tweak like to put it true, and it will like embed mesh sync as a library and without like necessary to have operator. Yeah, so like there is no CRD right now. So no CRDs. So if I just right now like scale back to Meshery deployment to 1, now we can see that we have like our mesh report, and there is again like no broker and no mesh sync. And yeah, so now we should go to UI, and we should see like the resources is still flowing. Yeah, and let me also show the logs of a Meshery. Yep, here we will see the logs of potentially flowing resources. So now I go to Meshery. And I log in with the cloud provider. And yeah, so like it's like expected behavior. So we already like see resources like, and yeah, so they're coming from a mesh sync, which is like running together in the same pod in the Meshery. Like what we can see here, our deployment Meshery, for example. And yeah, there is like this a bunch of logs which showing that like this like information about resources, it was added in our database. Yeah. So what else can we show here? So like we can go to connection. We can find our connection, which is like in cluster. This one. So we can update it lifecycle to disconnected. And yeah, so like there's like a new logs, like in this part, like is showing that like we stopping our like machine as a library. So like there is no like go routines leak. And again, like if we go back and make connections connected, yeah, we should see here like it's again like instantiated go routines, and again like updating resources. Yeah, this is it for this demo.
I got a question, Nikita. If once you've disconnected that cluster, do we still continue to see resources from that cluster? Not new resources or new updates, but do we continue to see existing resources that were discovered from that cluster over here?
Yeah. They stay still stay in database.
Okay. I'm curious about that. If you were to visit like the mesh sync tab, or maybe just this dashboard with the overview, the honeycomb, if you filter out So right now it might be that all 7 of your Kubernetes clusters are set to be in view. In the upper right-hand corner, there's the Kubernetes connection switcher. Or
Just like one moment.
Yeah, the selector. Because my question is like, you answered the first part, which is, once you've connected a cluster, whether the mesh sync that you're using to digest all the resources in that cluster, or whether that mesh sync is running in an embedded mode inside of Meshery server, or whether that mesh sync is deployed as into the cluster separate from Meshery server, and managed by Meshery operator. In either mode, you're basically introducing a brand new mode, saying that you don't have to run mesh sync in separately from Meshery server. You can actually run a copy of mesh sync internal to Meshery server. So just that single Meshery server container can fully digest and sync with all of the resources in any cluster that you connect to. This is wonderful news for a few different reasons, but my first question was, would you continue to see the resources that were discovered in the dashboard here? And you confirmed, yes, you will. You just won't be getting fresh updates about those resources because that mesh sync has been turned off. You're not watching that cluster anymore, not synchronizing with it. The follow-up question I had was to just sort of explore that a little bit. If you were to visit like the dashboard or the mesh sync table, and then you toggle your Kubernetes cluster selections in the upper right-hand corner, does the data that we see reflect those selections?
It's an interesting question. Like, to be frank, I don't know. We can test right now. Like, I don't know.
That'd be great.
So, okay. Yeah, I think it is. So, to the point, like, in a new mode, unless we have like some regression, like it should work in the same way because like it uses like the same transport. Yeah, so like functionality should stay absolutely the same. So if it was like working in that way, that like this tab reflects like the selection for mesh sync, which is working in operator mode, then it should like stays in the same way in embedded mode as well. So what I'm seeing right now, yeah. So like, if you remember, like I disconnected this cluster, yeah, which is like, and right now, the reflection in the mesh sync tab, it like follows the selection. So like I selected in cluster, we see something. If I deselect right now, we see nothing here. And this probably in cluster old one. So yeah, they're also empty. And I toggle it and it shows immediately.
Yeah, that's pretty convincing.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah,
it is like kind of too quickly. Like I don't know why it's so quick.
It might. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
for another couple of follow-up questions, maybe this is a big deal for the project. I mean, this is very helpful. Since you've connected, you've established a new connection to a Kubernetes cluster, and that connection gets represented. And you're able to manage the status of that. So I think at one point you disconnected. If you were to delete that cluster, I wonder if we would still see, the resources that were discovered from that cluster, or if we would expect that to be gone.
yeah. Yeah, let's check like it right now. But just to be to the previous one, like I think that in dashboard it's actually not following this one, because you see, like I did the selection and it stays no matter what. So
Yeah.
should it follow here, like also like the selection cluster? Yeah.
Yes, it should.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be a
So-
global control sort of over any page that you're on. The details that you see should be shown in context of what clusters you have enabled or disabled, which ones you have selected. So right now, it looks like we might have a bug. The dashboard. So Fahim, can you take a note? The dashboard is showing resources, or not. The dashboard is not honoring the cluster selection, the Kubernetes cluster selection. And this is most likely on the back end, but it's also possible that on the front end that there's confusion over conveying which clusters data should be retrieved for. Nikita, you might be involved in rectifying this as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just me quickly check like what will happen if I delete the cluster. So I select this cluster, I delete it. And if I update here, the point here, like, is like when we delete like a connection which is in cluster, and when I update the page, I think that Meshery, like it's trying greedy to detect the cluster, and it's like creates a new one. Because like you see, I see in logs that like it's already trying to add event, but I'm curious, like, but I do not see like delete event, so probably it is not deleting actually. Yeah, so probably it is not deleted. And the supposed behavior that like if we delete a cluster, we do not want to see any more resources. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's pretty nuanced, and it's why there's a disconnect operation and a delete operation, and yeah, and we have to clarify when we're talking about what we would expect to be removed. That there's one thing that we might expect to be deleted would be a record of the connection itself, which is just like a single record. But then the other things that we would expect to maybe be deleted or not would be the mesh sync data, all those records about all the resources. When a cluster connection is deleted, there should be at least one record that's removed, one record that's updated and archived, a soft delete of the Kubernetes. The rest mesh sync data, I am not sure that it is deleted or marked as deleted. And of what years, yeah. And it can be a little bit, difficult to, I'm sorry, my microphone just switched. It can be a little bit difficult to figure that out, the behavior and test the behavior, because of the greedy nature by which Meshery will attempt to reconnect to any available cluster. So, and that's why, you might be familiar with this now, but the reason that you would disconnect a cluster versus delete a cluster, I'm sorry, the reason that you would disconnect a connection versus delete a connection has to do with that greedy behavior. So Sangram, if you're there, or Ian, this might be a good, like, this might be an area where we're in need of clarifying the UX. I think Ian had to drop, but Sangram, do you have, or Nikita, anybody have thoughts about potentially clarifying the status behavior and how it works?
I think, to be honest, I'll have to test this a bit to come up with an answer. I don't want to just say something. I'm not sure if we are planning to release this or if I can. I need some time though to kind of test this version out and then maybe come back with some feedback on this.
Yeah, Nikita, are there instructions on how to enable embedded connection mode?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, so there is only this one environment variable, and I think we actually didn't release yet this version of Meshery. I mean, it is in master.
My understanding is this is not released, right?
It is in master already, so as soon as it will be kind of new release, so if you today spawn a new release, it will be available, but it is not default mode. So by default, it's working as previously. But if you tweak one environment variable, you will go into this experimental mode. This was I was checking. So you only need to this to specify in Helm chart this team beamer sync is library to true, and it will switch in this mode.
Nice. So Nikita, a quick post on the discussion forum would be
yeah. I was supposed to write in this developers mail list, but I was waiting until we have actually released, because right now I mean you cannot use it from normal Meshery image. You need to build manually. So as soon as we will have Meshery 08, I mean the next one. So yeah, I will write a post. I will write a message to my list.
Yeah, I'll share for a moment, because there's something you said, the pull request that contains this functionality, it has been merged, right?
Yeah. It's master, so we only need to press new release, and that's it.
Oh,
so
nice.
I was right now showing you this. I built the image locally, but from master.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, the thing I wanted to point out is that Meshery has two release channels, a stable release channel, which means that when a new Meshery release, a versioned release is made, you will, then how do I not use the same words? Then you'll have access to that new release in the stable channel, to the stable release channel. There is an edge release channel that is updated and available every single time that a pull request is merged. Given that this pull request has merged, if you're using Meshery through the CLI, you can set your release channel. And so on the system that I'm on, if I were to invoke Meshery CTL system channel view, the current Meshery context, Meshery CLI context that I'm using on my system, these are this is the channel properties. So the context name that I'm using is just called Docker. That's the name of the context. And it's using the edge release channel and the latest version. So if I were to start Meshery here, I'll have access to that new embedded mesh sync feature. Just having started this, though, while it has the embedded mesh sync feature, that feature won't be turned on. What Nikita was just saying is the flag that you, right now, the flag, and this will change over time, but the flag that you use to enable that mode, the embedded mesh sync mode, is an environment variable that you would set an environment variable for the Docker container. And just running system start, I didn't get an opportunity to set that environment variable. So even though the mesh sync that the Meshery server that I'm now running has that code inside of it pre-built and ready for me in a container image, it's not enabled because I didn't also pass along the environment variable. And so there's a bunch of juicy things that we just covered in the last 45 minutes. One thing that I'm saying right now that it would take me just a little bit of research as well is like, yeah, okay, so I get that, like that there's that you're starting an instance of Meshery, that the release channel that you've chosen is the Edge release channel, so it's the very, very latest. That the stable release channel, those are the versioned releases with like version 0.8 whatever version we're on. And you can switch between them with a command like system channel. Actually, there's a switch. So it should be like this. If you switch the release channel, it says, okay, well, we'll do that. We'll subscribe to the other channel. To continue, it will undeploy. We'll replace the new, it will undeploy my current server and deploy this one. Matthew, this is one of those areas. Matthew, are you still here? I think. This is, yeah, there he is. Mr. Irvin, Evren. Man, I always want to put the R before the. This is one of those areas, by the way, that like just because someone wanted to switch a release channel doesn't necessarily mean that they wanted to stop their current deployment and forcibly move over to that new channel right in the same moment. They might have just been wanting to set the channel. And so there's a couple of commands that are like this channel switch that I am running an instance of Meshery. It's the stable release. If I want to switch to the Edge channel, it would be nice if I had an option to not stop my release, to just I just want to make a configuration change for this context. I don't actually want to make a configuration change and swap out my currently running Meshery. So it shouldn't necessarily force me to stop my system, bring it down, bring up a new one. Like that's nice that it has that automation, but it's kind of like doing two commands in one. And I don't like set the configuration of my context and stop and start my context. It'd be nice if I had the option to just, to separate that out a little bit. Because otherwise, if I didn't want to stop what I'm currently running, I would have to go edit the file directly. I'd go into my configuration file. I'd look at my Docker context. That was the name of it, the one that I was manipulating. Right now, it's on the stable channel because that's the last command that okay. Anyway, that's something that it would be nice if so going back to the thing I was trying to say a moment ago is to set an environment variable, like to the extent that Sangram or Offsaw or others go to test this functionality. Rex might want to, because some of us are more DevOps oriented than others. And so some of us tend to be attracted to certain challenges more than others. And so one of the challenges here is, hey, if I have a Meshery deployment, or I want to deploy Meshery, I'm going to set my channel to the edge channel because I want to get at that latest piece of functionality. I want to test it out, see how it works. But in order to enable that, right now, I need to supply an environment variable to my container. I'm just running Docker locally, by the way. And when I'm deploying Meshery right now, it's just, deploying, well, it's technically two containers. It's just, one is just Meshery server. The last channel I subscribed to was the stable channel. So it also deploys a watcher to just check to see if I've got the latest. It's a subscription. You subscribe to the release channel, so it goes out and checks. Anyway, what a long-winded way of saying I'm not sure, and I would need to go look at how it is that I can deploy Meshery with an environment, a custom environment variable set.
Yeah, just to reply on that, if I'm right, I need to make a head on it and check the code, but if I'm right, under the hood, we are just calling Docker CLI when we are doing that. So I think that it could be easy to add a flag with custom environment, for example, that we can pass to the Docker command after that. But yes, it could be really good to do that.
Matthew's right, by the way. When you deploy Meshery using Meshery CTL, you can deploy it to a Docker host or a host running Docker, whether that's your machine or something else, or you can deploy it to a Kubernetes cluster, whether that's running on your machine or somewhere else. Those are the two platforms that you can deploy Meshery to using Meshery CTL. And like Matthew was saying, if you've set your deployment target, your platform target as Docker, then under the hood Meshery CTL, yeah, it uses Docker Compose and speaks to Docker, spins it up, and anyway, it's configurable. Actually, it's been about 4 or more years since I've looked at this. There is documentation written about what Matthew was saying, like, hey, here's how you can configure your Docker-based Meshery deployment, how you can customize it, because maybe you wanted to use BridgeNet or some other type of networking, or like, and so if you go, yeah, so there's Meshery CTL will dynamically in real time like download the compose file that gets used to deploy Meshery onto Docker. At least it used to. And that compose file is in GitHub. It'll pull it. You can configure it. There's documentation on this topic. I suspect it might need to be refreshed, but it would just be nice if when Nikita is telling everybody about this new embedded mode and how to go test it, that those instructions are included. And Nikita, I mean, it's absolutely possible to deploy Meshery with an environment variable set. In some respects, what you could take away from what Matthew had said is like, oh, well, I don't have to use Meshery CTL to deploy a Meshery server. I can just go, it's a Docker container image. I can just go deploy it and supply my own configuration. And you totally can. Yeah. So there's hopefully between a handful of the people that are intrigued by this feature, hopefully we'll be verifying if Meshery docs has the right info about like how to set an environment variable, how to customize either your Docker-based deployment or your Kubernetes-based deployment. Yeah, and then we would be expecting Nikita to send out a little bit of info about how to test this out. And for Nikita, as a contributor that focuses on Golang, most of the time that Nikita is deploying Meshery, he's building the project, compiling it, and running it like that. So he's quite familiar with giving everyone instructions on how to go test this by compiling the project. But not all of us either have the time or the knowledge or the care to do it that way. But because as a user, we want to consume it as just a pre-built container image. So yeah, we'll want to get instructions there. We didn't get to all the topics, and that's in part because we didn't have a ton of topics, because this particular one is quite juicy, pretty meaty. And so it deserves the time.
That's why I said the soft time check.
Oh, did
But
you?
yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't even see that. Yeah. Good. Okay. Yeah, please.
But yeah, thanks everyone for having a good discussion on the Nikita's topic. And we are already 5 minutes late to the time. Before wrapping up, I would like to ask, is there any item that we should discuss right now, which is important or critical right now before we wrap up our call?
Nothing from me, but thanks, Nikita, for the great work. Good to see. Encouraging for us, new joining. Yeah, thanks, man.
Definitely, Rex. Thank you, everyone. In that case, if there is nothing important right now, we missed a couple of items. We definitely will try to discuss it either on the Slack or maybe in the next week. Thanks for joining us, everyone, today. Today's was really a good discussion on a couple of really great features, and would love to catch up with you on the Slack. And see you next week. Have a good day, good night, and good evening.
Yeah, thank you guys. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.